Get it in the basket. Let's finish with an ace. Oh, it fought too much. Oh! What's up, people? In today's video, I'm gonna be playing a 18-hole round, and as we go along, I'll tell you my top 10 most underrated discs in disc golf. And wait for number one. I don't think that it's what you think it is. Alright, starting off here at hole 1, 59 meter, slightly turning left the entire way, pretty uphill. And I'm actually gonna start off with the number 4 spot on the list, which is the Resistor from MVP. This disc, for me, is the perfect hybrid between a mid-range and a fairway driver. It has the flight path of a overstable mid-range, but it goes as far as a really straight fairway driver. So starting off here at hole 1 with a force over forehand. That is beautiful. Starting off with a really easy birdie. Thanks to the number 4 spot on the list, the Resistor. If you guys want to support me, check out pug.se, get my merch, all of these options, like this shirt and this cap, and this new bucket hat as well. Very nice. Also, check out bouncebackdiscgolf.com, link right here, for the best disc golf towels in the game. You can get all of these different patches and towels and funny quotes and weird designs, and yeah, a lot of great stuff, and 100% the best disc golf towels in the game. And if you guys are enjoying the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're getting closer to that 2,000 subscriber mark, so if you want to support me and help me out, give me a sub. Back to the video. Hole 2, 56 meters uphill, slightly turning right the entire way. The basket is on top of a boulder, so roll-away potential pretty much everywhere. And here I'm going with number 6 on the list, which is the Prodigy A5, which is a really workable but still overstable approach disc. I don't think the numbers are that accurate, because it says that it has -1 in turn, which I don't agree with, at least not in the glow plastic. I would say that it is a little bit slower, more workable zone, which sounds pretty nice, right? So here I'm gonna put it on a bit of an Annie, pretty high, let it pan out and just land flat on the left side of the basket so I don't get any rollaways. So yeah, number 6 on the list, Prodigy A5. And sit right there. Oh, I think I threw it too far. I think it went over the hill, which means that I should have a pretty long comebacker. I threw it exactly like I wanted, but half a meter too high, I think. Otherwise it was parked. And now we're in a really bad spot, because now we're going back towards the hill and fading down. So this is decision time. This might be a layup, but I'm still gonna go for it, because why not? No one remembers a coward. No, sit, sit. Okay. I gave it a chance, but it sat, so it's okay. So -1 through 2 holes. But you could see on the tee shot that the A5 was actually fighting out of the Annie the entire way. If I would have thrown it a little bit lower, then it would have landed flat on top of the hill. But now I aired it, so. But yeah, amazing approach disc. The Prodigy A5. Hole 3, 85 meters, pretty much straight ahead. A little bit downhill and a couple of trees in the way at the end. And here I'm going with number 9 on the list, which is the Origin from Discmania. More specifically, the Midnight Prowl. But any Origin is still very underrated. Why it's only number 9 on the list is because I see a lot of people using the Origin, but it's mostly newer players. This is actually a very workable and understable mid-range for all levels of players. If you're a professional disc golfer, you can use the Origin for so many shots. When Simon Lisotte was at Discmania, he actually loved the Midnight Prowl.
One of my all-time favorite discs to throw as of right now is the Kyle Klein Midnight Prowl Origin. The
reason is you can put it on a lot of hyzer and it flips up to flat, and then it just goes straight the entire way. Or you can put it on a little bit less of a hyzer and get it to turn, and then it just holds that line from the entire way. I actually had one of my sickest aces the other day with this Midnight Prowl right there, which was on a 70-meter hole straight uphill. I threw it on this slight hyzer and it just flipped up to flat, and it was just on a rope the entire way into the center of the basket. It was so sick. But here on hole 3, I'm gonna put it on a pretty steep hyzer, get it to flip up and then just glide towards the basket. And a side note about the Midnight Prowl, it goes surprisingly far. I think I can throw this like 10 or even 15 meters further than any other mid-range in my bag. Look at that flip up and glide. Oh, like I said, I threw it with like 10% power and I'm past the basket. It went too far on an 85-meter hole. That's insane. It goes so far and it's so workable. If you haven't tried out the Origin, more specifically the Midnight Prowl, go test it out. It's crazy. I almost hit the pole when I slid past it, but now I'm over here and I have a tester for birdie. Should be pretty gettable though. Yeah. That's a nice birdie. 2 for 3 start. Number 9 on the list, the Midnight Prowl. Hole 4, 63 meters, pretty much straight ahead. Downhill in the beginning and then uphill at the end. And behind the basket, kind of a slight drop off. Don't go too far on this one. And here I'm going with number 5 on the list, which is the Discraft Challenger OS. This disc is the perfect, reliable, overstable putter that doesn't really fly like an approach disc. So what I mean by that, it's not like the A5 or the Zone or a Tactic or something like that. It's a little bit slower, has a lot more glide, but it's still pretty overstable. So it's gonna try to fight the entire way, even though it's still an actual putter, which is perfect for this hole, because if you look at this hole, it looks really straight, but if you want to make the fairway as big as possible, you want to put it on a slight ante and then get it to fight the entire way and land flat, which is what I'm gonna do with the Challenger OS. Jag tänkte kasta till korgen som är där uppe.
Ni aktar er från korgen!
Alltså de står vid korgen. I love that the teacher told me to throw when they are standing by the basket. Look at how it's fighting the entire way. That's perfect. Like I threw it on a slight anhyzer and it's not fading out, but it's trying to push out of it and land straight, which is like the perfect overstable putter. All right, easy tapping birdie. And now we're at -3 through 4. Number 5 on the list, Challenger OS. Alright, hole 5, 58 meters downhill, pretty straight. And here I'm going with number 3 on the list. I don't think you will be surprised to see Barry on the list if you've seen any of my other videos. This is my absolute favorite approach disc. Flick it on a forehand and it goes straight. Doesn't really want to glide, so very usable approach disc. We're gonna have to go back to hole 5 and play it later. Way too many kids, half of them in the fairway. So, but here is hole 6, 54 meters uphill. I don't really know what to do on this hole. I don't know if it's a backhand or a forehand or putter or even a fairway driver. So let's just go with, let's take another one on the list actually. Let's go for number 8 on the list, which is the Luna. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, Luna, underrated, really? It's one of the most used discs in disc golf. But the reason I'm saying the Luna is because everyone is using Lunas in premium plastics and using it as a straight to overstable or maybe a little bit of turn, but most commonly a straight putter. But I'm actually talking about the base plastic Luna, because these ones are really flippy. This is my most understable putter, and if I throw it on a pretty steep hyzer, it's still gonna flip over and turn right the entire way. And right here, because it's uphill, I want something that is a little bit more understable, so I can throw it pretty straight but still get it to turn and land on the right side of the basket. So here I'm gonna throw it on a slight hyzer, get it to flip and drift right, and just try to land it close to the basket. Look at that. Miss it. No! Oh, that was actually close to going in, but hit the last tree, kicked down, and now it's a tester, just inside the circle maybe. Like I thought, barely inside the circle, tester for birdie. Oof, barely over the rim, but it's in. And you can see on that throw, number 8 on the list, the Luna, threw it nose up, uphill, on a hyzer, still flipped over, slightly drifted towards the right side. Unfortunately hit this tree, but you could see kind of how flippy this is. Hole 7, 83 meter, par 3, slightly turning left the entire way. Kind of a pushing hyzer here. Most people would throw something overstable here, just go straight and get it to fade left. But the problem with that is that you're gonna fade and skip left of the basket, and on the left side you don't want to be. So I'm kind of gonna fight that by throwing an understable disc on a steep hyzer, get it to flip up and then just glide towards the basket so it hits a little bit earlier and then kind of stops by the basket. And that's why I'm going with the Midnight Prowl again. Look at that flip up and how it just glides, and now it's gonna sit right by the basket. I would say perfect shot. Flipped up to flat and then kind of just slid up to the basket. Another birdie. Hole 8. This one actually has 2 basket positions, but we're going to 8B, which is a par 4, kind of a dogleg right up the hill. And here we're going with maybe a controversial pick, but it's number 7 on the list, which is my Sunbird. The Sunbird is actually the first edition of the Discmania Genius. Both work, but this one especially is the one that I'm referring to on the list, because it's a stupidly understable fairway driver. I'm gonna take Simon Lisotte for an example again. He loved this disc. He used it quite a lot for like really steep hyzers that flip up and glide towards the left, and he uses it for really quick cut down rollers and even skomahawks, which is when you throw it on a really steep anhyzer and it flips over and becomes kind of like a thumber, which is kind of a stupid shot, but it's really cool, kind of a trick shot that he uses to please the crowd. But why this is on the list is because everyone needs a really flippy roller disc that you can just throw flat or even on hyzer and get it to cut over and just turn right, because there's actually a lot of holes where that is usable, kind of like right here. Normally you would kind of throw a backhand turnover or a forehand hyzer just up the hill and then an approach, but when I throw this I can actually push it up the hill and have an even easier approach. So number 7 on the list, the Discmania Sunbird, or Genius. And it actually flipped too much. But it's going up the hill and I'm gonna have a really easy approach from there. Kind of got stuck in this ditch, but it's still a super easy approach from here. But here going with number 3 on the list, which I would have thrown on hole 5 if I could have thrown there. The perfect forehand approach disc. Look at how straight this goes. Going. Oof. Had the line, not the height. But that's so straight. The disc doesn't want to glide. It has 1 in glide and 1 in speed. So it's basically not gonna go anywhere. It's just gonna go where you throw it, which is a very usable disc. Number 3 on the list, the Batty. Hole 9. I'm actually gonna go with the Batty here again, because like I just said, it doesn't have any glide, so it doesn't want to go anywhere, which is perfect on a hole like this. The T sign is not correct, that's the old placement. This is, let me check actually, 76 meters, very downhill. So easiest way to get there, forehand with the Batty, just out towards the left side on a hyzer, and it's not gonna go anywhere, it's just gonna dump down to the basket. And normally I think this is a island hole, actually. So let's play that the circle, like C1, is the edge of the island and outside is hazard. Yeah, let's just put it close. Look at how it's just gonna die now. No other disc is gonna sit right there. It's a left to right wind, so it's actually pushing the disc, but it's still sat and it's still inside the circle. Let's go for an ace with the A5. That's a good line. Just go in. Do it, please. Oh my god. Alright, headwind putt here from like 8 meters. Let's make it count. Oof. I thought that was too high. Oh my god. Perfect nose angle though. That was good. Hole 10, very straight and then finishing towards the left. Very tight though and a little bit downhill. But here I'm going with the Challenger OS again. Just throw it straight into the gap and let it work left at the end. Very slippery tee pad though, so kind of scary. Mr. Birch. Yeah. Look at how straight that goes when I throw it really hard, because it's so overstable that it's never gonna flip. It just goes straight and it works left when it loses speed. I love that overstable putter. I think this brings us to 8 down through 9 holes, because we didn't play 5 yet. And we're a band hit away from a perfect front 9. Playing decent. Hole 11, 65 meters, straight ahead, pretty tight fairway. OB like 3 meters behind the basket. So here you want something that doesn't go too far and it goes really straight. What does that sound like? The Batty on a forehand. Perfect for this hole. Not when you miss the line though. That was bad. First bad shot of the day. And of course it's right after I say we have a pretty perfect front 9. I jinxed myself. Still a chance to save it right here though. Low ceiling, 18, 19 meters maybe. Let's give it a floaty spin putt. Miss it. Oh, that's so bad. Of course I missed the easiest hole. After I say we have kind of a perfect start. Ah, stupid. Hole 12, 85 meter par 3, slightly turning left the entire way. According to me, probably the trickiest hole on the course. Before you couldn't even see the basket, so I saw a lot of players just trying to push it as far left as possible, but it's actually a little bit straighter than you think. So I'm going midnight prowl on a pretty steep hyzer, flip it up, but still glide towards the left. First challenge is hitting this very tight gap, so really tricky hole here. That's too straight. Yeah. Flipped it up too much. That's unfortunate. I think I've played this hole maybe 20 times and I've only got 1 birdie, which is crazy. It is a lot easier now though when you can see the basket, because now I have a better understanding of the line. That's perfect. Yeah, that's like parked. It's been a while since we made one of these on the channel, so let's get this one in the basket. Floaty hyzer bid. Get up. That's so bad. And never mind, the Mindbender was not parked, but it's still a very good shot. And having a chance for the birdie on this hole is pretty unlikely and feels very good when you actually hit the line. But now we got a par, which is unfortunate. That's 2 pars in a row. That's really bad. Alright, hole 13, 76 meters, slightly turning left the entire way, really tight. You can't see the basket from the tee, but it's over there on the left side, so you kind of want to go in this middle gap and throw a pushing hyzer the entire way. But I'm going midnight prowl again here. Just try to hit the gap and push it up there. And really slippery tee pad again. Like, listen to this. Why is it so wet? It's not wet anywhere else. That's inside. Missed the tree. No. Very good angle. A little bit early. It wasn't actually that bad. I kicked so far left that I'm pretty open over here, so that's nice. And like I said, it's been a while since we made one of these on the channel, so let's give this one an honest bid. And here I kind of have to go straight on. Can't give it a high because of the trees on the right side. Do it. Come on. Yes! It just trickled over the cage. Oh, that was so satisfying. It came in so slow. That's probably like 25 meters. Let's go. I measured the putt and it was actually exactly 25 meters. So very nice. We got one far one. That's good. It's been a while. But we're here on hole 14, which is a par 4, 141 meters. OB entire left side. There's kind of two gaps depending on where your first shot lands. My slower discs are starting to go way further than what I usually throw them. Something is different. I don't really know what. And here I would usually go with a distance driver to get it into position. But because my slower discs are going further, I'm actually going with a fairway driver. Which brings us to number 10 on the list. It's number 10 on the list, kind of because of the same reason, like the origin, the Midnight Prowl. Because I see a lot of people using it, but most of the time those are beginners. So the disc that I'm gonna use is the Essence, which is for me perfect understable but still controllable fairway driver. Here we have kind of a headwind, so I'm gonna have to put a little bit of hyzer on it, but I also use it for those really straight like 100-meter shots where I just throw it on this kind of hyzer and just flip up the flat and just go straight the entire way. But yeah, number 10 on the list, the Discmania Essence. It's a pretty strong headwind now, so that's why it flipped that much, but I can still control it. I love that disc. It's probably my most used fairway driver, I think. I kind of landed in between the two landing zones. I'm gonna have to throw kind of a flex forehand through this right side gap, which the A5, like I talked about before, is perfect for. Throw it on this slight Annie and it's just fighting out and panning out the entire way, then landing flat. And it's so comfortable in the hand for a forehand. Just the perfect overstable approach disc. A slower and glidier and a little bit less overstable zone. So good. Very unfortunate roll away here though, but I think... Oh, it's just inside the circle. Damn it. I wanted to jump at. I don't really understand how it rolled all the way over here though. It landed flat. I must have hit like a rock or something. No! Oh my god, I thought I missed it right. Oh, that was such a bad putt. No pictures on the scorecard. Hole 15 is a 137 meter par 4. A very soft par 4. So you don't need a lot of distance from the tee, which is why I'm going with number 2 on the list. And if you've seen my other videos, you will not be surprised that this is number 2 on the list. Maybe you thought it was number 1 though. It's the Taylor. So here I'm just gonna throw it out wide on a hyzer. Might flip up a little bit, but it's just gonna glide on that hyzer the entire way. A perfect in-between disc between putter and mid-range. And goes surprisingly far as well. Controllable as a putter, but goes as far as a mid-range. 53 meters left, and you know what that calls for. Let's try to give it a bit with a hyzer. Drop. A little bit lower and might have been in. I think that was right over the basket. Might have been a little bit short to go in as well, but easy birdie though. Hole 16, 95 meters, pretty straight ahead, a little bit uphill. And to make the fairway as big as possible here, you kind of want to go with a slight Annie flex. So I'm going with the FD3 right here, put it on just a tiny bit of Annie and get it to fight out and come back at the end. Now come back. No. To beat in. Maybe I should have gone a bit more overstable, like this Thunderbird right here. Yeah, should have gone with that one. Let's go for the ace instead. Be the one. Come on. Go in. Oh my god, that was close. Kind of fought its way up here though. So long look for the birdie. Anyways, high and just spike it down. Go! Ah, close. Decent bid. Still bogey free though. That's good. We're here at hole 17. Par 4, 158 meters. Turning left and just straight up the huge hillside over here. 158 plays like 220 probably. It's so much uphill. But right here and right now, I'm gonna tell you the number 1 disc on the list. But before I tell you which disc is at the number 1 spot, put in the comments right now, which one do you think is number 1 on the list? I'll give you a couple of hints. First hint, it's a distance driver. Second hint, it's from Innova. Third hint, it's a 13-speed distance driver from Innova. And the fourth clue, it actually has 2 different flight numbers, depending on which run you have. And the grand reveal, the number one disc on the list is the Innova Shryke. And you might be like, why is that number one on the list? It's not even underrated. A lot of people use it. Well, that's the case. Not a lot of people use it. I think the reason for that is that if you're a good disc golfer, you love the Destroyer and you think the Shryke is just a really understable and worse version of the Destroyer. That's not the case. Depending on which run you get, it's not actually that understable. This one that I have is stupidly understable, but it's 170 grams and very beat-in and a very unstable run of the Shryke. But this one right here is actually not that unstable. So according to me, the Shryke is at the number one spot because it's a faster, glidier and more understable Destroyer. That doesn't sound that bad, right? I think a lot of people would really enjoy this disc right here. It's basically a more workable and further Destroyer. I'll throw both though to show you kind of the difference. Look at that. I get a little bit of flip up and drift, but it still comes back. It's such a good disc. Here is the more unstable one though. You see how much hyzer I put on that. But look at the glide. It's such a good disc. It goes so far. I can't throw that far, but that disc makes me go that far. But if you want a even more understable, then the Hades might be the one for you. 12.6 minus 3.2. So this one is actually really understable, but I think it's also underrated. A lot of good players could use it, but they're like, no, it's too understable, I don't want it. Use it. Understable drivers are good. And the Shryke is not even that understable, so it's usable for all different players. Get yourself a Shryke and try it out. Especially in those Luster Champion plastics. They are amazing. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but this is so much uphill. The Hades was actually the furthest, but from here I have like 62 meters left to the basket, which normally would be like a forehand with a baddie. But I'm actually gonna throw a fairway driver just to make sure to get it up there. I don't want to be short. Get up. Yeah, it's decent. Should be a birdie. It was actually really short. Anyways, that's crazy. 62 meters. And I throw it too short with a fairway driver. Like what? This hole is so uphill. I know I threw it way too low, but still, shouldn't be that hard. That's so annoying. 62 meters from the basket and I can't even get it up and down. I don't understand why this hole is so difficult. Hole 18, finishing pretty easy here with a 50 meter par 3 downhill. Pretty tight gap, but should be very manageable. Going to Challenger OS again. Slight Annie, make it fight out and kind of go straight. Try to get it in the basket. Let's finish with an ace. Oh, it fought too much. Oh! That almost kicked it in. Oh, why didn't it stick? That would have been sick. Oh, that was so close. I'll just quickly show you how unstable the Sunbird really is. I'll jump putt with it and you'll see. Cut roller. Why couldn't it just have stayed in the basket? So close. Like splashed right here and out left side. That would have been so cool. And that tap in birdie brings us to minus 12. I forgot about hole 5. Alright, we're back here at hole 5. And kind of important shot here, because my personal best on this course is minus 12. And we're currently at minus 12. So if we can get a birdie here, it's minus 13. But like I said before, going with the baddie here. And thankfully, no kids here now. But I guess it would feel even nicer to go minus 14, right? Do it. No, it's fading. Oh, that was so close. Hopefully it's a birdie though. I don't really understand how it went so far when it was so close to going in. I think I'm outside the circle here, maybe. Oh, just inside, like 9.5, which makes it even harder. But this putt is for a new personal best on this course, even though I haven't played here in a really long time. Let's go. Dead center. That was such a good putt. Minus 13, let's go. And I think that's second place on the leaderboard as well, but I'm coming for that number 1 spot, don't you worry. With that birdie on hole 5, we got a new personal best on this course. But that's it for this time. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment down below what you want to see next. Don't forget the bell as well. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.